Hey guys, back here with Tua for another video. Update pup date time, 14 months old. If you're new to this channel, my name is Sean and this is Bullmastiff ND. And I do this style of video every single month as my Bullmastiff Tua turns another month older, so he's exactly 14 months old today. And I used to do this type of video every single week until he turned about a year. But once he got older, the growth and everything kind of slowed down and the videos became very repetitive. So now I do these every single month. And I do these types of videos not only for myself to look back on one day, but I wanted to try and create a great log of information on what a new owner could possibly expect. So this will be a great research tool for anybody that's interested in the breed. And go ahead and look through all of my videos now. I have quite the log here, starting from almost the day we brought him home and up to today, the present time, with him being a 14-month-old dog. I touch on mainly the same things every single video and his progression, such as his growth, where I track his weight and his height, his food, what we're feeding him, socialization, what we're doing to socialize him, his energy levels, his barking, and his drooling. And those are the main things that I touch on every video because I feel like those are some of the most important things when people are considering getting a bull mastiff. And then I also just touch on anything else that may have stood out from the month. Could be simple things or big things, you know, anything that we go through, whether it's a vet type situation or even when he was younger, I was letting you guys know exactly when his teeth were falling out. Things like that, just so you know possibly what to expect if you got one or if you currently have one. Not every dog is going to be identical in their situation, but this should give you guys a great starting point to be able to see what it would be like living with a bull mastiff. So if you're interested in the breed or you already have one, go ahead, check out all my previous videos, and let's get going on Update Pup Date 14 months. Okay guys, so like I said, with these videos I like to start out with just some new things that I noticed from the month or just new things that we did from the month. And I'll go ahead and start with just something I noticed with his energy levels. This is maybe the biggest and most significant drop off in his energy that we've had like in a month to month period to date. And mostly when he's inside. When he's outside, it can still be, you know, relatively high. He'll still like to run around, run hard, play. I don't know if you guys saw the video I did earlier a couple days ago of him running around outside, but he'll still run really hard outside. But when he's inside, it's like pretty crazy just in this last month how much that energy has decreased. This includes him being very, very calm with our kids, where normally he'd want to play kind of hard with them and be in their faces and, you know, treat them like they're little puppies in a way. And now he's more often than not just more content laying or sitting by them as they're playing or coloring or whatever. And just other times too, when normally he'd come in from going to the bathroom after a meal and he wants to run around and things like that. In the last month, more often than not, he'll just kind of be content coming and sitting next to me if I'm sitting down on the chair or the couch or whatever, or just laying down and kind of watching us. He definitely is still having his days, don't get me wrong, but the energy drop off has been very, very noticeable, I'll say, from month 13 to 14. So if you're looking for an energy drop off in your dog, like if you have a younger puppy right now and you're wondering when it kind of calms down, not every dog's going to be the same, but if they're like Tua, the most significant drop off will be between that 13 and 14 month time. But and guys, this has been going down now for several months, I would say, the energy drop off, but like I said, the most significant and most noticeable was just now between month 13 and 14. Another new thing from the month here is we got him a couple of new chews. As you guys know, if you're regular viewers, I'm constantly looking for new chew toys. I've said how his jaws are just so incredibly strong now that he's pretty much destroying almost everything that we throw at him except for a few things. We used to really like those those buffalo horn chews, and I still do, but his jaws are just so strong that he goes through those so quickly now. He can destroy those also. So the new chew toys that we got for him, the first one was an elk antler. And I absolutely love this, and Tua loves it too, but the big downside of this is how expensive it is. It's very, very expensive for a chew toy. Cost us about $40. I'm going to have a link to it down there in the description and in the comments if you guys are interested. And I've had it for a month now. We got it literally a month ago, and he's been chewing on it daily, and this is what it looks like now, so you can kind of see how he's worn it. He definitely has worn it, but for a month of daily chewing, not bad at all. So if it weren't for the price, I would absolutely give this, a 10 out of 10, but we'll see how it holds up over the long term, and I'll update you guys on that as time goes on. But I also did find a nice cheaper option to this, also more of a natural chew. And it's a stuffed beef bone. Old Roy makes it. I just got it at Walmart. And guys, I want to say it was only $4, so that's huge. The only thing that I did with it was I took the stuffing out. One, because I have no idea what it was, if it's healthy for Tua or anything. And number two is because it looks like it could get pretty messy in the house, and it looks like something that would really create a lot of drool if he was, licking and chewing on it. So I just took a butter knife and kind of slowly worked that stuffing out. And this is what it looks like after about a month of daily chewing also. It's kind of same and similar to the elk antler. He's definitely got it worn down, but for a month of daily chewing, not bad at all. And for the price, you guys, you can't beat it. I mean, it's a little bit smaller than that elk antler. I want to say the elk antler is about 9 inches, and this is about 5 inches. But he seems to like it just as much as the elk antler. So is the elk antler worth it for $40? I mean, yes and no. We'll see how it holds up in the long term. If this is something that'll last a good 6-7 months, then I'd say it's absolutely worth it for the price. But if you don't want that initial big price, look for these Old Roy stuffed bones at Walmart. I want to say it's just like a cow shin bone or something. But now we'll go ahead and start talking about the main things that I hit on every single month. And we'll start with growth like we normally do. So at 13 months old, for weight, Tua was 134.5 pounds. At 14 months, I just got him weighed in. He's now 138 pounds. So he put on 3.5 pounds in the last month, which is kind of consistent and typical to where he's been the last couple of months. He's really packing that weight on nice and slow and steady now, nice and consistent. And he'll probably continue to put that weight on until he's about 2. His dad was about 150 pounds, so Tua should touch that with no problem. He's about 12 pounds away from that now at 14 months, so maybe he'll even exceed that. We'll see. And he's definitely putting this weight on nice and slow. If you're a regular viewer, you know he used to put on 4 or 5 pounds a week as he was growing and, less than a year old, much younger. And I'm definitely doing my best to exercise him as much as possible and not overfeed him and keep him nice and lean. He's still a very muscular, athletic-looking dog. You can still see veins in his legs. You can see the muscles bulging in his legs. Very nice and lean still, and I want to try and keep him like that as long as I possibly can. His height is the other thing that I update you guys on. So at 13 months, he was about 29.5 inches, and we just measured him, and I want to say it's still about 29.5 inches. Which is very tall for a bull mastiff. He was maybe slightly above that, but it was, a little bit tough to eyeball, so I'm not going to give him any more than 29.5. But as you can see, right there at about that 29.5 inches. And like I said, tall for a bull mastiff. In general, the males are, 27, 28 inches tall. So he's above and beyond that, which is kind of interesting. So at 14 months of age, Tua is 138 pounds and 29.5 inches tall at the shoulder. But now I will go ahead and start talking about the next thing, which is food. If you're a regular viewer of this channel, you know that I do about a 50-50 split with some sort of raw meat, fruit, and vegetable to go along with this kibble. 50% kibble, 50% raw food. The foods that we used this week as far as raw goes was this month as far as raw goes was ground turkey, ground beef, pork loin, chicken gizzards, chicken wings, the bone and all. Not many people know unless you're used to feeding raw food, but chicken bones are just fine for the dog as long as they are not cooked. If they're raw, they are okay. When you cook them, that's when you start running into problems with them splintering. But to continue, chicken breast, chicken liver, beef liver, eggs, and the fruit we used pretty much all month was blueberries. And if you don't feed your dog raw, I really encourage you guys to go ahead and look into it. Even if you just supplement it a little bit like me. I've made a video about when I first started doing raw food and how I was very apprehensive at first, and now it's just, part of the normal routine with Tua is to give him raw food. Gives your dog lots of good nutrients that they wouldn't get and don't get through their kibble. And I've never had a bad reaction with Tua with anything that I've given him to eat whatsoever. We even do a little bit of raw here and there with our miniature pincher, who is 10 years old now, and she had never done any sort of raw food until we got Tua, and she hasn't had any bad reactions either up to this point. The only thing with raw really that I would encourage you guys to do if you do it is to definitely make sure that you're washing the food bowls more, both food and water, because you're setting that raw food in there, and if you don't wash them, there's just going to be a really good chance for bacteria to grow, and then that could maybe end up getting the dog sick. So just make sure you're washing those bowls more. Socialization is another thing that I touch on every single month. It's very, very important. I talk about many times when you first get your Bullmastiff puppy, you need to treat socialization like it's your new part-time job. These dogs need to be very well socialized as much as possible and starting out as young as possible, because if you can't control them when they get to be, possibly a 150-pound dog, you're going to have a lot of issues. Not only controlling them, but you want them to be familiar with many different situations so that they're cool with it. If you're seeing people or dogs or animals or anything, you just want them to be like, hey, this is just completely normal and no big deal. So some of the things that we did this month, right now where we're at, it's really, more difficult for us to socialize him in the winter months, but that's why we, do so much of it when he was younger, and then also when it's nicer out. But I got him out on several walks this month. It's been so brutally cold here the last month, but we did have a few nice days. And on those walks, we came across only one other person that was walking their dog. And we got kind of close, but Tua wasn't really able to interact. But we were close enough that him and the other dog kind of saw each other, made eye contact. I said hi to the guy, stuff like that. So he at least got to see another unfamiliar dog out on a walk. And then we also got him into PetSmart a couple times. I wanted to get him into a store again. I think I made a point of that in the 13-month update video, that I wanted to get him indoors, do some indoor walking, because it had been a while. And in there, he was able to interact with a few people and a few dogs, and he did great. Haven't had any issues with him as far as interacting with dogs or strange people ever. And I would just chalk that up to the fact that we've socialized them so often from a very young age. The one kind of interesting thing when we were in PetSmart, not related to socialization at all, but just thinking of it right now, is he marked when he was in PetSmart. And he didn't lift his leg or anything, but at one point we were just like walking, and while in stride, he just kind of let a little bit of spray go. And he had to have been smelling another dog's pee, because that seems to be when he is marking. And I even brought up in a different update video, I can't remember which one, that he marked inside our house once before also. And that was because he had found a spot where our miniature pincher had an accident, which he kind of will here and there for whatever reason. And he marked that inside of our house. And that's the one and only time that he's marked inside our house. But he definitely, when he's smelling pee from other dogs and stuff outside, he will mark on that. So it hasn't become an issue yet, really, as far as doing it inside buildings and stuff. I'm guessing it would be more of an issue in unfamiliar places where he's smelling other dog pee, and he's going to come across a lot of that in a store such as PetSmart. So we'll see where that goes in the future. Hopefully it doesn't continue, but if it's only in PetSmart and stuff like that and not in our own house, then not a huge deal. But just thinking of that randomly here. Energy is the next thing that I touch on every single month. And I kind of already hit on this in the intro when I was talking about new things for the month. But again, it's noticeably down when indoors. And outdoors, though, you know, he's still ready to run around and go crazy at times. But indoors, definitely down. And I always talk about how he kind of has two windows during the day. When the energy is a little bit higher, and that's still the same. Generally, you know, the first couple hours that we're awake, and then kind of the last couple hours before we'd go to bed, give or take. More like after dinner, I would say, not last couple hours before we go to bed, because he's usually passed out sleeping by the time that we go to bed. But, you know, a couple hours in the morning, couple hours at night, kind of right before and or after those meal times. But yeah, nothing really too much to report on energy, kind of because I've already hit on it. But yeah, definitely significantly down. Drooling is another thing that I touch on every single month. Like I say, every single month, this is kind of repetitive, not really changing a whole lot. He is a drooler, but the most significant drooling is around when he's drinking his water, or meal times if I'm letting him sit there and watch me prepare it and he anticipates it coming. I actually made a video on this earlier this week that a lot of you guys saw. If you didn't, go ahead, check it out if you're interested. And then another thing too that I'm noticing now in the winter months when there's snow on the ground, he loves to like lick that snow and kind of eat that snow and play in that snow. So he's coming inside the house a lot now with drool hanging down, because he's, you know, eating that snow and then it's melting and turning into water, which then turns into the drool. And so we're just kind of wiping him off when he comes inside from the backyard. A couple other times when he will drool a little bit, but not too significantly, is if he's hot and panting, or if he gets overly excited or stressed out for any sort of reason, he'll get a little bit of drool that will form. Every once in a while, if he's doing some heavy chewing, he'll get a little bit of drool that will form. But none of it's ever really an issue except for around when he's drinking water, around that mealtime. Barking is the last thing that I touch on every single month. So Tua is like, he's got two little areas. He's either 100% barks all the time, or he barks like none. And to explain that further, outside of our backyard, you don't hear a peep from him. He never barks. But when he's in our backyard, almost every single time he's in our backyard, he's finding either a noise or something that he will like to bark at. And I've talked about this many times in past videos, that I just think like our backyard is kind of his space that he feels like he needs to guard for whatever reason. And if he hears noises or anything, he's trying to let those potential threats know, hey, I'm here, this is my yard. And I want to say that it's because we have a 6-foot tall privacy fence around our backyard, so he can't see outside of it. And when he hears noises, since he's unable to hear those noises, or I mean see what those noises are, he's letting out his warning barks. That's kind of what I'm thinking it is, because front yard doesn't bark. If the doorbell rings, he doesn't bark. If there's a package or pizza delivery, new people at our door, doesn't bark at them. If we're out on walks or something like that and he sees dogs or people or dogs are barking at him, he never barks. I mean, like literally, guys, the only time he really barks or makes a peep is when he's in our backyard. And he's not necessarily even barking at anything sometimes that I can tell, but he's hearing stuff. And yeah, I don't know, just kind of odd. Almost every time when he's in our backyard, but beyond that, never. So he's kind of living up to that breed standard of not being much of a barker. He definitely isn't, except for that one situation. But that's all I have for the month, guys. Another longer video. These update ones are becoming longer kind of every single month, because what I used to pack into a week long video, now I'm packing a month's worth of information into it. So if you stuck around this long, I really do appreciate it. Thanks to all of you that are here every single week and subscribe and make comments and all that. We're really helping out a lot of people that are interested in this breed. And you guys are helping me out a lot as well, giving me lots of advice or even just sharing stories with me. Definitely love interacting with all you guys. Really do appreciate it. So thanks again, everybody. And you guys take care, and we'll see you again soon. Thanks for watching.